What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing great, because I know I am, and if you're not doing great, hopefully this video will make you feel great, because it's going to be so awesome. So right now it's 4 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time. I am driving from New York City to Dallas, Texas. Over the next week, I'm going to be embarking on a road trip pretty much through the heartlands all the way to Texas. I'm gonna have to pass through. I'm gonna have to get out of New York City, obviously, then New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Ohio. And then I'm gonna be hitting Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, and then Texas. And you will see all that in this video. And every state after Ohio, so starting with Indiana, are gonna be new states for me. So I've never been to places like Indiana, Illinois, Texas, Missouri, like any of those states before. So I am super excited to drive through those and make little stops along the way, like in St. Louis, and it's gonna be great. And then when I'm actually in Texas, I'm doing like a whole road trip through East Texas, but you will see that in a different video, and you will see a lot of the stops along this drive in this video in different videos. Like when I go to St. Louis, I'm probably gonna make like a full-time vlog that's not gonna be in this video. I'll probably just show what we do there very briefly in this video. But yeah, I mean, driving from New York City to Dallas, it's 4 in the morning right now. I am so excited to not only hit 6 new states, but be to a part of the country I've never been to before. I've been all the way up north in New England, and I've been all the way down south. So yeah, I've been to like the deep south and New Orleans, and I've been to Appalachia and all those kinds of places, but I've never really been to like the heartlands and the Midwest. And you know, I guess I've been to Ohio technically, so I've been to the Midwest, but never like Illinois and like Kansas Midwest, you know. And I've never been to the Southwest either, which I will officially complete today, you know, tomorrow whenever I get to Texas. But yeah, I mean, that's the intro to this video, and I don't think I need to explain anything else. So let's hit the road. All right, guys, so to get going, we rented a beautiful dark gray Ford Bronco. I mean, look at this thing. It's gorgeous. I always love these cars. So when I saw it in the lot, I'm like, damn, bro, let me actually rent one of these for the trip, you know, and I'm really glad I did. So a lot of you guys might be wondering, like, why 4 o'clock in the morning? Why do you leave so early for a road trip? Why not leave when the sun's up or in the afternoon? Well, I will tell you, when you live in the New York City metro area, in the suburbs of New York, specifically on Long Island, when you have to pass through New York City to get anywhere, it's always best to do it in the wee hours of the night, like we are, before the traffic starts. Because New York has some of the most insane traffic you'll ever imagine in your life. Like, you'll be trying to drive through the city or anything like that, and it will take 3-4 hours sometimes. Like, literally, that's not an exaggeration. So when you're trying to get somewhere, and when you're just trying to hit the road, you know, it's better to leave at a time like this and beat all the traffic, because as you can tell, there's really barely anyone out right now. So we'll be in New Jersey in 45 to 50 minutes, as opposed to 4 hours if we left in just a few hours, really, because that would be rush hour. So this is definitely the move. Always will be, always has been. So we're driving over the Verrazano Bridge right now, and over there usually is a great view of the New York City skyline. But because of the Canadian wildfires, there's so much smoke in the air that you really can't see anything. So the clock just struck 5, and we are already passing into New Jersey. See you guys, within an hour we got out of New York City. If we left any later, a few hours later maybe, that would have been 3 to 4 hours trying to get out of the city. So now we're officially out of New York and we're in New Jersey. We have been for a good 15 minutes now probably, and we're just cruising south on the New Jersey Turnpike, and it's gonna be like this for a little bit, but I'll check in, I'll keep you guys updated. At this rate, we're almost in Pennsylvania, so we just gotta push through the remainder of New Jersey and we'll be in our 3rd state. Okay, so when we cross that bridge, we will be in Pennsylvania. Okay, New Jersey, see you later. And it is on to our next state, Pennsylvania, in under 2 hours, by the way. You know you made it into Pennsylvania when you see the fireworks billboards on the highway. We are now on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, which is gonna be a long drive. So we literally are taking it from one end of Pennsylvania all the way across the state to the other end of Pennsylvania. And if you guys don't know anything about geography, Pennsylvania is a very wide state. So it's going to take us about 6 hours to cross the entire state of Pennsylvania on this one road, the PA Turnpike. So yeah, let's see what this road has in store for us, and let's hope we complete the state semi-quickly, because I am excited to get into Ohio. Because I feel like once we make it into Ohio, even though that's not a new state for me, that's like some serious leeway into the trip done, and it's getting very close to my first new state, Indiana. So it's been about an hour and a half since I last saw you guys, and we're just about an hour and a half further down the PA Turnpike. It's a lot of forests, a lot of farms. We're in like Amish country right now, so there's going to be a lot of farms over here and stuff. Pretty nice scenery. But nothing too crazy. The cool views in PA will happen when we hit the Appalachian Mountains. So like once we cross the mountain range and we're in Appalachia, that will be really cool. So I'm kind of excited for that to happen. All right, so we pulled off the Pennsylvania Turnpike in Hershey, and we're making our first stop at a Love's truck stop. All right, so we're at Love's, one of the best rest stops ever. You gotta love a Love's, guys. So what I get, a little something to kickstart your heart, trail mix, and of course a BRAYXOTIC favorite, jerky. So you guys see this truck in front of us? He has been wobbling for a while now, like all over the road, over the line into the other lane, if you guys can't tell. And not only that, I didn't get it on camera because I wasn't filming, but there was like a turn on the turnpike, right, where the road was kind of going like that. And when he was doing that turn, the very back of his truck went into the dividing wall over here between PA Turnpike East and our side, PA Turnpike West. And the back of his truck hit the freaking dividing wall, man. Like, that's crazy. He's probably gonna get in big trouble with his trucking company for like screwing the truck up like that. But I'm trying to keep my camera on him to see if he does anything else. But anyway, on a brighter note than on the day that guy's having, we are about halfway through Pennsylvania right now, which is really, really cool. Because as I was saying before, Pennsylvania is a long drive. Oh, you see? See? He was literally in the other lane and then swerved back into this lane. That dude next to him better hurry the hell up. Get past him. But yeah, as I was saying, Pennsylvania is a long state if you're crossing it directly. And we are about halfway done. We're about wrapping up the farms now. We're going to be in the Appalachian Mountains soon, so that'll be cool. And then we just got to get through all that and we'll be in West Virginia. Look at that, guys. Dude's in both lanes now. Genuinely driving on the dotted line. That's crazy. He's probably nodding off. He was probably driving all night and he's super tired now. Just like pull over and get some sleep. Or some coffee or something. No. There he goes. Yeah, he got off on Interstate 81. Hopefully he stays safe. Or maybe he's pulling over to get some sleep, who knows. So now we're at the point of the PA Turnpike where we're passing all the dilapidated farmhouses and the abandoned silos and all the like creepy religious billboards on the side of the road, you know, like Jesus saves and will you go to heaven or hell. Alright guys, so rain's starting to come down now, and over here you got those ominous ass mountains in the back. So you can tell that the terrain is starting to change a little bit from farmland to the Appalachian Mountains, which is pretty peak. Alright guys, so now that we're in the Appalachian Mountains, we are at the part of the turnpike where there are tunnels that go through the mountains. So it's pretty cool. So as you can tell, we got like these big mountains here and we're on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. And the road goes through the mountains, through these like giant tunnels, and it's really cool, really ominous, engineering masterpiece, and I want to show you guys. And there's a bunch of them along the turnpike, and when you're heading west on the turnpike. This is the first one, the Blue Mountain Tunnel. Look at this thing. How cool is that? And check this out. When you come out of Blue Mountain Tunnel, you go underneath the next mountain. Kittatinny. What is that? Kittatinny Mountain Tunnel. There you go. And it's the same thing. And then you come out and you're back in the mountains in the rain. So we pulled over at this gas station called Sheetz, which is kind of like a Wawa of Western Pennsylvania. And it's in this town called Breezewood in Pennsylvania. And the parking lot is absolutely chaotic. Alright guys, so the weather started to clear up. Look at that. We got farms, mountains, a little church over there. It's awesome. Keep on pushing through Pennsylvania, guys. Not gonna lie, Pennsylvania's kind of getting a little boring now, on my nerves a little bit. I'm ready to get to the next state. We've been driving in Pennsylvania for like 4 hours now. We got here at 6:30, now it's like 10:30. So, guys, check out those wind turbines. That's so ominous. Alright guys, well, we're still in Pennsylvania, unfortunately. But at least we're not on the Pennsylvania Turnpike anymore. We're on a different road right now, Interstate 70. So it's a little bit of a change of pace and different views. We're in the Pittsburgh area right now. We're hitting some bad rain, guys. Check this out. And now 5 minutes later, we go from like such a horrible storm into this sunny skies. Pennsylvania could not make up its mind what it wants to do. Guys, we did it. Goodbye, Pennsylvania. Hello, West Virginia. We made it. All right, guys, so here we are, West Virginia. Wow, that felt good. Literally like 6 hours we've been driving across Pennsylvania. That was grueling. Felt so refreshing to see, like, welcome to a new state. That was great because, you know, like when you're driving on the road and you're in one state for too long, it can start to feel like a horror movie, you know what I mean? Like the hallway that never ends and it feels like you're getting nowhere. So when you complete a state and move on to another one, it feels really, really good. West Virginia, wild and wonderful. We're about to cross into Ohio, guys. Once we pass this bridge. Welcome to Ohio. Okay, so we're officially in Ohio. That feels so, so good, guys. The fact that we crossed into Ohio and it's only 12:30 p.m., that's some serious leeway. We are doing great on time. My goal, essentially, would be to make it to St. Louis, Missouri tonight, but we'll have to see how things go. We'll have to see how far we make it, how many stops we make today, and how tired we are. Because I didn't sleep a wink last night. I have been up for about 30 hours straight now. So I'm exhausted, and my dad is exhausted, and we're just, you know, we'll see if St. Louis happens tonight. But even though it doesn't really look like it yet, because we're still on the Appalachian Plateau, and it's still hilly. We are in the Midwest now, officially, and pretty soon we're going to start seeing all the farms and the plains and stuff like that, so that'll be really cool. So stay tuned. We just got to pass like Columbus and get out of this like hilly region, and we'll see all the real like Midwest geography and Midwest culture. So we're pulling off in this sketchy little rural area to get some gas. I think this is the part of the trip where we have our first sketchy middle of nowhere gas station experience. Look at this place, dude. This is a cool gas station. I like this. Sweet. They got barbecue in there? That's interesting. Guys, check out that place. It's a little like corn dog and sausage stand outside of a fireworks store in like rural Ohio. I mean, I don't know. Would you guys eat corn dogs from a stand in the Appalachian Mountains of Ohio? I don't know. Would you? Comment down below. Guys, check that out. In front of that abandoned gas station, there's a horse. Is that like wild or is that someone's like ride? Hey guys, check him out. He looks like he has a saddle and stuff, so it looks like he'd be someone's ride. But why in front of an abandoned gas station? We're starting to finally see some of that typical Midwest landscape. Alright guys, so we are in Columbus, Ohio right now, which is the first big city that we have passed through on this trip so far, outside New York. So once we got out of New York City, which is our starting point and home, the only really other big city we semi-passed through was Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania, but we really didn't even pass through that one. We kind of just passed through like the outskirts of it. However, we are now in the heart of Columbus. We're gonna go get some lunch at this restaurant I love called Another Broken Egg Cafe. It's a chain in the Midwest and the South. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna continue on driving, and the route we have is gonna take us through downtown Columbus, so that should be cool. Yo, restaurant was absolutely delicious. I got the Bourbon Street pancakes, and it's like basically pancakes with like bananas and pecans and like a caramel and whipped cream. Bro, it's so good. And then I got like sunny side up eggs too with some bacon. Actual top tier breakfast, bro. And I got coffee, so I'm feeling like really good right now, super energized. And the part of Columbus that the restaurant was in is like this really cute like shopping district, just like a lot of stores and restaurants, and it's really like neat and nice looking and cute. A lot of things to do, you know. I like areas like this. Check this out, guys. Our first views of the Columbus skyline. Love that. Love seeing different skylines. One of the coolest things for me about being on the road is like, for example, like all throughout today, we left from New York City, and then where were we? We were in the mountains and the farms of Pennsylvania, and then in like the farms of Ohio, completely like rural America, right? And then all of a sudden you see the skyline of Columbus pop up in the distance on the same road that you were on in the rural area. So it's like one road takes you through so much like different kinds of scenery, different kinds of environments and culture. It's so cool. Cool skyline. I like it a lot. I like the I'm not sure what it's called, that building right there, the old like beige Art Deco one. It's really cool. So I guess it's taking us through downtown now, which is pretty interesting. I love when interstates go through downtowns, give you a good view of the skyline and everything. I'll just not explain that sign. Look at how bad these clouds are, guys. Check that out. And right now we're in the heat of the summer on the flatlands of the Midwest, right? Like, that's creepy. Watch us get like a giant tornado out of nowhere, because the weather is yep, there you go. The weather is really bad, like all over, on and off. Like where I'm from, New York City, and like all the way to here, and like especially here. There's like flood warnings and everything. It's blinding. So that relaxed a little bit. That was absolutely crazy, guys. That was like probably the worst patch of rain we got on this drive yet. You genuinely could not even see the road, and you guys know I'm not like a dramatic person, and like I don't really, but I also don't sugarcoat things, and that was crazy. Like you could not see 5 feet in front of you, and we're on like a major interstate right now. Like that's pretty scary, especially like I said before, when you're in the flatlands of the Midwest in the summer, in the heat and humidity. You know, someone from not the Midwest is probably like, you know, the first thing their mind goes to is tornadoes, and that's what I was thinking. I'm like, bro, watch us get a tornado right now. And the clouds over that way were very, very dark gray and like thick, so I was not loving that. I was not too sure about that, and I'm still not. We still might get a tornado, who knows. And don't forget, we're going deeper into the heartlands. I just want to point out to you guys, like, what happened 10 minutes ago, and like the sky over here now. Like, what is happening? So we found a Buc-ee's, you know, we got to get off. Hallelujah, guys. The holy mecca of road trips. I am so excited, bro. All right, guys, so we wrapped up Buc-ee's. I got a few souvenirs, I got a drink, and we're headed out now. I always want to record the inside of Buc-ee's, but it's always very chaotic in there, very hectic, and it's just a very overwhelming environment to be filming in. But I have once before on this channel, I believe in Alabama, so if you guys want to go check it out, you can watch that video. It's the one where I drove to every southern state in one road trip. So that was pretty cool if you want to see what the inside of a Buc-ee's looks like. All right, so we left Buc-ee's about a half hour ago, and we've just been riding on the interstate ever since, getting closer and closer to Indiana. And I am so excited to finally get out of Ohio and enter Indiana, just because, you know, I want to see a new state. I want to add a new state under my belt. And, you know, every state after Indiana is going to be new for me. So very, very excited for that. And we have made it, Indiana. All right, guys, so we officially crossed into Indiana, 24th state, pretty awesome. There's the Uranus Fudge Factory. Cannot stress to you guys how much I love the feeling of entering a new state. It's so cool. So one thing I noticed about Indiana right away is how horrible the roads are here. We're on Interstate 70 right now, and it's constant bump after bump, pothole after pothole, and it's really, really annoying. Like, you could hear it in the car, you could hear it in my voice, shaking my voice, like literally constant, compared to Ohio, where Interstate 70 was like smooth. Like a smooth ride the entire way, literally. And ever since we entered Indiana, it's just been like boom, 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 boom. It's like Indiana's got to fix its roads, man. So we've been driving in Indiana for a long time now. A lot of farmland, a lot of cornfields. That's pretty much it. However, we are now approaching Indianapolis, which is like the heart of Indiana. So that'll be pretty cool. We're gonna get to see the skyline and everything like that. You can start to see the skyline up there. All right, we got some last views of the skyline over here before we're out of Indianapolis. Look at that. Alright guys, so we're out of Indianapolis. We're back in rural Indiana. We have been for about a half hour now. We left the city about a half hour ago, so we're just cruising. So what we're going to do, the game plan for the rest of today, is to make it into Illinois, and then somewhere in Illinois, pull over and get a hotel room. We're not exactly sure like how far into Illinois we want to go. We just know we don't want to make it all the way to St. Louis tonight, because that would be too long. We are both very, very tired. tired in a way we've never been before. Sadly, our plans of making it to St. Louis did not work out, but it doesn't hinder anything that badly, so I'm not that worried about it. But for now, we just gotta keep pushing on down the road until we get into Illinois, which is the next new state. So we're getting off in this random town in Indiana. We're gonna get some gas, use the bathroom, stretch our legs a little bit, because it's been a bit since we last got out of the car, so. Small town, Indiana. I like that we had to like kind of pass through a small town here in Indiana. It's pretty cool, you know, because we were kind of like riding the interstate the whole way, and we saw Indianapolis, but we didn't really get to see a small town until now. So I'm glad we got off, because this is pretty cool. So we're gonna go to a Casey's General Store, which is like a gas station chain here in the Midwest. So figured we'd try it out. You guys know I love my gas station chains. Never been to one of these yet. So Casey's was pretty cool. I got Casey's brand like New Orleans potato chips and Casey's brand root beer. So peak. Like I said, I love gas station chains, especially like regional gas station chains. Those are the best. Like you only get certain kind of gas stations in certain parts of the country. And Casey's General Store, it's like a Midwest thing. And I never went to one before, so I tried it. It was really cool. I liked it. All right, so we left that little small town. We got back on the interstate. It is completely dark out now. It's hitting night again, and we're getting more tired by the minute here. So hopefully Illinois comes soon. I think it will within the next half hour or so, and we'll pull over at some point. Whoa! You guys see that lightning? All right, gang, we've successfully made it into Illinois. All right, so we're officially in Illinois, which is so cool. Even though you can't really see much because it's pitch black out right now, you can still tell that that's a farm over there. A lot of cornfields over here as well, just like Indiana. Tomorrow when we wake up here in the day, we'll have a much better view of the scenery, but... Well, the rain's coming down again. Alright guys, so we landed in Effingham, Illinois at a Home 2 Suites. This is where we're going to be staying for the night. It's about time we pull over off the road because we're both, I think fatigued would be the word now. Extremely fatigued. Can't even see straight. Okay, good morning guys. It was a very good night's sleep, very well needed to say the absolute least, but we did it, well rested. Hotel room was really great. Always love a Home 2 Suites. Here's the view from the hotel. But what else could I possibly say right now except for let's hit the road. All right guys, so we're back on the interstate headed west towards St. Louis. Gotta love the creepy, ominous giant crosses along the highway. Whenever you're in the South or Midwest, you're gonna see a million of them. Alright guys, we're gonna get off, get some gas, some morning coffee. Look at this little town we're getting off at. So we're gonna hit this 66 gas station right here. This place is really cool guys, very old gas station inside, but they had a lot of cool stuff. So we're on the in blocks of this town right now, and this really is like the definition of small town Illinois, like, you know, middle of nowhere town in the Midwest. Yo, look at that German Shepherd on that porch. It's interesting to see this kind of stuff for sure. I love this motel, the J Inn. Freaking J fell off. That's how you know it's some crappy roadside motel. But this thing is cool though. This like mock archway. It's awesome. So many cornfields, guys. We are like officially in the farmlands now. I mean, we have been, but it's just been like constant farmland and cornfield and that kind of stuff that I just showed you. You know, there's really not a lot of trees anymore like there were. Alright guys, we're still in Illinois. We're getting really close to St. Louis though, so that's really exciting. Seeing St. Louis for a long time has always been something really important to me. Not just because it's a cool city and like I'm dying to see the Gateway Arch and stuff like that, but because it's the gateway to the West. Once you cross St. Louis, once you're in St. Louis, you're officially considered to be in the West. So it's kind of like, you know, gateway to the West. So I'm looking forward to crossing it and just kind of having that like, oh yeah, you know, like I've been to the West kind of thing, you know? So it'll be cool. We're getting so close, guys. Check it out, guys. There's the skyline of St. Louis. Check that out. And there it is, St. Louis, Missouri. You got the skyline and the Gateway Arch. How cool is that? So right now we're still in Illinois, but once we cross over the Mississippi right here, we are going to be in Missouri. So that'll be really cool once we get over this river. Welcome to Missouri. Alright guys, we're officially in Missouri and in St. Louis. Look at that Gateway Arch. That is super cool. Never seen anything like that before. Alright guys, so we spent the last few hours here in St. Louis. We went up to the top of the Gateway Arch, we walked around downtown and saw the old courthouse and did a few other things. That video will be coming sometime within the next 2 weeks or so. So if you want to see my stop in St. Louis with, you know, full vlog about everything we did, just stay tuned. But right now we are still in St. Louis and we are gonna go on to I-44 West and continue heading west through the rest of the state of Missouri. That Gateway Arch really is a trippy building though. Such a cool design. When you're standing at the bottom of it, which I showed in my other video, it's so like ominous. Alright guys, so we're officially out of St. Louis now. We're just, you know, on the interstate in rural Missouri, and we are gonna continue driving down and see where else the road brings us. So I found this place called Wally's, which is a huge travel center for like when you're driving there along the interstates, and it's definitely a ripoff of Buc-ee's, but I've never been to one before and I really want to try it out and see what it's like. Okay guys, so we left Wally's. I thought the place was great personally. I really enjoyed it. Buc-ee's has my heart though. You know, I do think Buc-ee's is better, and Buc-ee's is like the OG. It's bigger, but Wally's really was great. It was such a fun experience. A lot quieter too than Buc-ee's, a lot quieter. I got some Wally's homemade potato chips, so they look pretty good. But yeah, we are back on the road now in Missouri, and we're just going to continue on down the interstate and see where the road takes us. So as we're driving through Missouri, you can actually see Route 66 right over there on the side of the interstate. And that is so cool because Route 66 is something I've always wanted to do as well. Like that's like top tier bucket list road trip for me, to drive from Chicago to LA on Route 66. And there it is, right down there. And it's so hard to like not just get off it and be like, all right, let's do this. But I'm gonna lock in on what I'm doing right now, because next year I have Route 66 planned. So next year I'm gonna drive Route 66, the entirety of it, from Chicago to LA. So that'll be cool. So I'm not too like depressed over it because I know I'm going back in like about a year. So there's Route 66, that small rural road along the interstate, and that's it. It goes all the way from Chicago to LA, and you know, it runs parallel to Interstate 44 here in Missouri, so we can see each other. And it's just really cool. I'm very much looking forward to driving this thing next year. And lots of times old Route 66 will merge with the interstate because whoever built these interstates kind of like combined Route 66 with the new interstate in some portions. So We actually might end up driving on it today a little bit. But for right now, there's the old historic Route 66. Sun's starting to set a little bit over Missouri. Beautiful scenery though. A lot of hills. We're hitting some farmland now, but it's been a lot of hills and it's just gorgeous out here. Missouri's had a lot of cool billboards too. I think it's because of our close proximity to Route 66, and we're seeing like advertisements along the interstate for all the cool little things along Route 66. Like there's like a giant candy factory and like caverns, and where Jesse James apparently used as a hideout, you know, stuff like that. And like the Uranus Fudge Factory thing, there was like a whole town for it over back like 20 minutes ago maybe. But I'm not worried about all that right now. I'm gonna save all that for next year, tease myself with it now a little bit. So because the interstate that we're on is so close to Route 66, me and my dad stopped off at this crazy like Route 66 stop. We kept seeing like a million signs for it along the interstate, and we're like, all right, we're not doing the Route 66 trip yet, but let's just pull over, see what this one spot is. So apparently it's the world's largest gift shop, but that part was closed, so that sucks. So we'll have to go back to that store next year. But right next to it, which was like I guess part of the same store, is something called Rodney's Candy Factory, which sold like a bunch of different kind of candies and like kettle corn and like all these crazy flavors too. Like they had like fruit flavors and blueberry cheesecake flavors and like the most insane flavors ever. So I got cheddar cheese popcorn, which isn't crazy, that's like normal, because you know I wanted to enjoy it in case I didn't like this next one. But I also got mint chocolate kettle corn. I don't know how that's gonna be, but you know, we'll try it. And next year when we're actually on Route 66, we'll have to try to stop at the world's largest gift shop before it closes. But yeah, anyway, here is the place and here's the inside of it, the little bit that I recorded. So we're gonna try this mint chocolate popcorn together. Doesn't smell that great, but let's okay, that's actually kind of fire. What the hell? Oh wait, let me try chocolate one. Bro, what? All right, not together. Get the real blend. Bro, that should not be that good. What the I was expecting it to taste like weird as hell. Not good. We are getting such a cool sunset. You got the cloudy gray Midwestern skies and the clouds, right? And then you got the beautiful sunset up there. All right, guys, so we are in Springfield, Missouri right now. We just got some dinner at Chipotle. And what we're gonna do now is, because we are both super tired, we are going to look for a room here for the night and sleep in Springfield overnight. And tomorrow wake up, get out of Missouri, hit Kansas, then Oklahoma, and then finally get into Texas. So tomorrow night will be the day we finally hit Dallas, and it'll feel really good when we do. You know, we did this huge road trip from New York all the way through the heartlands, you know, so today's night 2, time to wrap it up, and yeah, so let's go hunt for a room. All right, guys, so we're still in Springfield, and before we get a hotel, we're gonna stop at another Buc-ee's real quick. All right, we made it. Buc-ee's in Springfield, Missouri. Guys, check this out. It's so empty. I like that. It's like quiet. You never experience a Buc-ee's like when it's nice and quiet, you know? It's probably because it's late right now. It's like 11 o'clock. All right, guys, so we are gonna stay at this hotel in Springfield tonight. We stopped at Buc-ee's. I got beaver nuggets, a Dr. Pepper, and some merch. I got one of their specialty Missouri t-shirts, but it's time to go in the hotel, the Green Stay Hotel and Suites. So let's check this place out. All right, gang, so here is the room. So with us being in the room for the night, I just want to say goodnight to you guys, and that today was another awesome day. I mean, we saw Missouri, my 26th state. We passed the gateway to the west, which means we officially entered the west. Not only that, we went to the top of the Gateway Arch, and tomorrow we got Dallas, Texas, and Kansas, and Oklahoma in between. So I'm gonna get some sleep, and I'll see you guys in the morning. Good morning, guys, from Springfield, Missouri. We just left our hotel, and now we are back on the road, headed west towards Texas. All right, guys, so we're about less than 10 minutes away from Kansas right now. We're finishing up Missouri. We're just outside Joplin. Not sure if we're gonna be passing through like the actual city of Joplin or if we're just like right below it, but either way we're in Joplin. So Missouri was super fun. Definitely the best state I've seen on this trip so far. Indiana and Illinois, they were cool too, but it was just a little boring, and maybe that's because I didn't really go to the right places or do the right things. But Missouri definitely was really interesting, from the places we stopped at, like St. Louis, to just driving on the highways and stopping off at these cool little like Route 66 stops along the interstate. I saw both sides of Missouri, like the real country parts and then the city. All right, guys, so long Missouri, hello Kansas. I cannot believe that we are in Kansas right now. When you're like a person that lives in New York City, Kansas is like one of those states that like you just never like see yourself being in one day, you know what I mean? And here I am. It's super cool. It's such an awesome thing. Small town Kansas right here, about what I would expect. Just very small town core, you know, a lot of bricks and stuff. Yeah, look at that old movie theater. And it's cool because we're not like on an interstate right now. We're on like back roads, so we're gonna get to see some, you know, of the inner parts of Kansas as opposed to just the main highway. Kansas is about exactly what I pictured, you know, just a lot of cornfields, flatlands, giant hay bale towers. All right, so we've been in Kansas for about 20 minutes now, and we are about to wrap that up and get to Oklahoma. It's been a short experience, but a very fun one. I'm so glad that I got to cross into Kansas and see what this state was all about. One day it will be cool to like drive across Kansas, really through like the flatlands and genuinely just where it's like nothing, like no trees, no stores, genuinely nothing, you know. Maybe one day that would be really interesting. Welcome to Oklahoma. All right, so we've officially made it into Oklahoma. Cowboy country now, guys, definitely. So we're just gonna drive straight through Oklahoma until we get to Dallas, Texas. Guys, I really like Oklahoma so far. When you look at it, it really does just look like cowboy country, frontier land. It's such a cool aesthetic. I also just wanted to point out to you guys that we are in Cherokee Nation right now, which is the area of which the Cherokee tribe resides here. in Oklahoma, and it's cool because they operate as their own government. Like, they have their own executive, legislative, and judicial branches, and this area is the Cherokee Native American tribe, and they run it. It's their government. It's just super cool. I've never been to an area before where it was like Native American dominated and like kind of like ran by the Native Americans. A lot of Oklahoma is like that though. There's a lot of different Native American territories all about the state, and this area specifically is for the Cherokee, and they all live here, work here, and run the show. So I thought that would be like a cool little thing to share. Alright guys, so we're just, continuing on through the great plains of the wild west of Oklahoma here, and we're passing through some small town. Not exactly sure what it is, but just a small town in Oklahoma. Not too sure why the GPS wanted us to get off the interstate and drive on like local highways and stuff through Oklahoma, but definitely more fun than the interstates. Just continuing down the road here, and there's a giant something on the back of this truck right here. Not too sure what that is, but it's like going in our lane and passing. Alright guys, so we've been driving in Oklahoma for about 6 hours now, just passing through a bunch of, open plains and rolling hills, a lot of small towns. Oklahoma's been really cool so far. As I was saying earlier when we first entered the state, like, it's really just one of those states that you consider like far away when you're from New York, and it really is just like frontier land in the Wild West, and it was so cool to like be passing through it. In about a half hour we'll be in Texas, our final state of this road trip, and then after that about a half hour into Dallas. Welcome to Texas. We made it. I can't believe it, guys. We are officially in the great state of Texas. Texas has been a state that I've been wanting to hit for a very, very, very long time, and I'm finally here. It's my 29th state and the end of this long New York City to Dallas trip. Alright guys, well, we got our hotel room here in North Dallas, Texas, and I did some filming, but I am going to put that in my Texas video. As I said, everything I do in Texas is going to be in different videos in the future, so if you're interested in seeing those and what I do here in Texas, be sure to check out my channel and subscribe for future notifications on what I do here. Other than that though, we hit 6 new states together in this video. We drove across the Midwest from New York City to Texas, saw so many interesting things along the way, saw so many different states and parts of the country, and that was truly just an epic road trip. From the cornfields of Indiana and Illinois, through the Gateway Arch of St. Louis, to the Wild West of Oklahoma, and then into Texas. It was just truly something else, and I'm glad that I brought you guys with me. But other than that, guys, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.